Ladies and gentlemen, today we hear a rare voice from inside one of the most talked about courtrooms in America. A voice not from a lawyer, a celebrity, or a media outlet, but from a citizen. A juror. His name is George, one of 18 individuals summoned to fulfill their civic duty during the high-profile trial of Sean Diddy Combs. For 8 long weeks, George sat in that courtroom, listened to the evidence, observed the witnesses, and absorbed the arguments from both sides. He, along with 5 other alternates, did not ultimately cast a vote in the final verdict. But his words now add clarity to the story the world has been watching unfold. Sean Combs, an international music mogul, faced 5 criminal charges in this case that captivated both the entertainment industry and the legal world. And after 8 weeks of testimony and 2 full days of jury deliberations, the verdict came down. The jury found Combs guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. But on the most serious charges, racketeering and 2 counts of sex trafficking, he was acquitted. The verdict left many stunned, divided. Some believed justice was served. Others questioned if it was enough. But now George, speaking with CNN's Laura Coates and the New York Times, gives us insight into what it was like inside that room. Though he did not deliberate alongside the 12 jurors, he had his own judgments, formed through hours of careful note-taking and reflection. He said simply, "I understand the verdict. Not as an outsider speculating from afar, but as someone who saw the trial from the front row." George explained that after reading over his own notes and weighing the evidence presented, he probably would have reached the same conclusion as the jury. Especially on the racketeering charge, the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. This is significant. It suggests that the evidence for the more serious charges, racketeering and sex trafficking, did not resonate as definitively as prosecutors hoped. George's comments reveal the struggle that jurors face in every courtroom, the burden of proof. They are told to set aside emotion. Set aside media hype. Look only at the facts. And based on what he saw, George believes the facts didn't support racketeering beyond a reasonable doubt. Still, 2 guilty verdicts remain. 2 counts of transporting individuals for prostitution. Those convictions are serious. They tell a story of wrongdoing that could not be ignored by the jury. But they also tell a story of limits to what prosecutors could prove about an alleged criminal enterprise. Throughout the trial, we heard about Combs' world, a world of fame, fortune, and influence. Prosecutors alleged that beneath the surface of success was an organized network exploiting others. The defense countered with a portrait of a man who lived large, but not criminally. Witnesses came forward. Some supported the government's case. Others poked holes in it. Documents were presented. Videos played. Testimonies contradicted. It was, as George described, complex. And at the end of the day, when the jury was left alone with the evidence, they found 2 crimes proven, and 3 not. George's reflections highlight something we often forget when we follow courtroom drama from afar: jurors are human. They listen. They wrestle with doubt. They weigh the gravity of their decisions. And sometimes, the simplest explanation is the truest: the evidence just didn't add up to racketeering. Now, the world awaits what's next for Sean Combs. His legal team will surely appeal. Prosecutors may reflect on what they proved, and what they couldn't. But what's undeniable is that a jury spoke. And even one alternate juror, looking back, can understand why. George didn't take the easy road of sensationalism. He didn't call the verdict a miscarriage of justice, nor did he proclaim Combs' innocence in full. He simply shared his truth as a juror who did his duty. This is what the legal process looks like when it works: messy, imperfect, but rooted in evidence and reason. And for all the headlines that followed this case, perhaps George's quiet voice from the jury box is the one that will resonate the longest. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes, it speaks softly through people like him. And now, as the courtroom clears and the cameras fade, it's up to the rest of us to reflect on what we've learned. About celebrity. About power. About accountability. And about the citizens who answer the call of duty when their names are drawn from a box. This story isn't over. But today, we pause to listen to George. And in his words, we find not controversy, but clarity. A reminder that justice, for all its flaws, still rests in the hands of ordinary people doing their best with extraordinary responsibility.